If the Atlanta mayor's race has turned out to be about race, we can say the governor's race has not. And it's interesting that that race is not until 2010. Mayor's race is in 2.5 months, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the AJC did an interesting story on Congressman Nathan Deal, who's one of the key Republican candidates for governor, saying that he personally intervened on behalf of a business partner own up in Gainesville, and that business is a monopoly for the whole North Georgia area, granted by the state. I'm told that this began when Nathan Deal was the Senate President pro tem in the Georgia legislature. The law was passed granting these monopolies, and Nathan Deal, who was a sitting state senator, was able to take care of it. The story just stinks to high heaven. I said it was a shady deal. I think you can look at it and say it was a shady deal when a congressman, Phil, calls a meeting in the lieutenant governor's office and calls in the revenue commissioner and tries to break his wrists.
That's the bad part of the whole story that was in the package that the AJC had last Sunday. Nathan Deal says that he and Commissioner Bart Graham are fine now. He says that it's been blown out of proportion, and of course what a lot of Republicans won't like is that the ethics complaint that was filed against the congressman was filed by this George Soros funded outfit that always goes against anyone to the right of Barack Obama.
But let me just say,
wait a minute. I mean, there are some serious
there's a serious ethical
concerns here. I don't care who filed them.
Raw, naked self-dealing.
I mean, the thing,
instead of real deal, it's self-deal.
Self-deal.
I mean, a campaign consultant.
I don't like the no-bid process.
Congressman, no, I mean, it's terrible. And the congressman says, I was just seeking information the way any businessman would seek information. I wasn't trying to twist anybody's arm and all of that kind of stuff. But it just doesn't hold water. You are a congressman. You do have incredible sway. You can call a meeting in the lieutenant governor's office in a way that a lot of other businessmen, particularly small businessmen with this kind of operation, simply can't do. And he's got an advantage there that everybody else doesn't have. I think that, you just shouldn't be in that kind of business.
Well, it troubles me that this began...
I think the Cagel's office, you're right, Jeff, should not have done that.
It troubles me that this began when he was a Democrat. This is the old kind of Democrat good old boy stuff you used to see down at the legislature. But it also bothers me, and I know congressmen are allowed to have outside income and so forth, but, actively running a company while you're a sitting U.S. congressman, that kind of bothers me. And
well,
a lot
of them do that.
I know, but I think this is going to dog Nathan Deal.
Well, it's also, I think, the issue of, it's not a problem with running a business, it's the problem of doing business with the public, with the government.
Right.
And that's what makes it
having a state-granted monopoly.
Exactly right.
The state gave him this huge territory, and so they're taking these wrecked cars, and then the state has to inspect them to see if they can put them back on the road. And for all of Metro Atlanta, the closest place is in Gainesville.
Right.
That's a pretty sweet arrangement, isn't it?
That is a sweet deal for
it. It was some excellent reporting, and I think this is going to haunt. Now, in the race, we had a strategic vision poll this week that doesn't really reflect that story on Nathan Deal, and actually people aren't paying that close attention anyway, are they? But it shows Oxendine. Last week I said the good news for Oxendine was that he was at 30%. The bad news was that he was at 30%. Couldn't break through. Well, now in this other strategic vision poll, John Oxendine, the insurance commissioner, is at 39%. Nearing a fairly pivotal number. Nathan Deal's at 13, and Karen Handel at 12, and Eric Johnson at 6, and Austin Scott at 1 or 2. And by the way, Austin Scott, just for the record, completed his 1,000-mile walk to the state capitol. Good for.
And I don't know if anyone's paying attention to that.
I'm not sure, but good for Chairman Scott. Handel's gaining ground here a little bit, but Oxendine at 39. That's some good numbers, huh?
That's pretty strong.
Dick, I'm going to change my mind. I initially thought that Eric Johnson was the weakest of the candidates in the Republican primary, being from Savannah and not having that political base, and that's still a problem. But he could be the sleeper in the race, especially if somebody drops out and he can get into that Metro Atlanta Republican base. So
if Nathan Deal is damaged, it's to the benefit of Eric Johnson.
Yes, in that mountain district.
I don't know. I think Karen Handel.
I think Karen picks up a lot of
Either one.
Either one. But I'm looking at Handel as a separate entity.
Johnson just needs to get into the North Georgia Metro Atlanta area more.
Right, and I don't think that he's going to make that.
But he could if one of those drops out.
Well, you've got really strong candidates who are from the metro area, and then Oxendine, who
They're
is just sucking all of the votes up and all the money out.
John Oxendine has done something very wise, and I was there at the healthcare rally a couple weeks ago in Centennial Park. John Oxendine gave a great speech. He is speaking out on a lot of these issues, not just the fair tax, but healthcare and other things. So he's doing well with the grassroots.
Well, he's got a website that says Stop Obamacare or something, right?
Right.
He's trying to play to the conservative base in this primary, and his numbers have jumped up.
Right.
If the official pollster of the Georgia gang is to be believed, right?
Right.
So I think